everybody doing? Okay, before we start our talk, I have a tradition of taking video selfies. So can we get the house lights up real quick? All right. Can we get the house lights up? All right, cool. All right. Josh, come over here. Here's how we're going to do this. All right, I'm going to cue you up, and then you're going to go crazy. Sound good? Awesome. All right. Swift Connection 2025. Paris, make some noise! Yeah. Okay. Let's do this.
Wait, this one. All right.
Cool.
We're up there? Okay, cool. I gotta stand somewhere here. Hi, I'm Josh Holtz, and I'm from Chicago, and you may know some of my work, which Ellen just kind of highlighted. Fastlane, something I've been working on since 2015. Revenue Cat is my day job right now. I'm in charge of the paywalls team, and I have a bunch of swag afterwards if you want some, so come find me. I'm not going to take it home. And then I started Deep Dish Swift 3 years ago, Swift iOS conference, pizza themed. And then I've been conference speaking for like 4 years now, and very honored to have spoken about a lot of my passions all over the world. Most important thing, though, out of all those is I have a stutter, and that is driving a lot of this talk today.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Zach Brass. I also have an employer, but I'm not here representing them today, so I have to put up this notice. Also, just like Josh, I've also spoken at a bunch of conferences doing both technical and non-technical talks. And that's actually the premise of this talk. Long story short, Josh and I met at a conference in 2021, and we kind of fell in love with each other's talk styles. Josh's talks are like your favorite engineer took you out to lunch, talked about that thing you were curious about, and then paid for your lunch afterwards.
If you can't tell, Zach has a very charismatic, theatrical, high energy on stage. Something that I cannot match. And we kind of matched because of those differences. So a year ago, Zach sent me a text, a long one, which I usually wouldn't read, but I like this topic. He was like, I have an idea for a talk, a meta talk, a talk about how we talk about our differences on how we give talks.
Nailed it.
So obviously, I was like, oh my God, yes, let's do it. And 1 year later, here we are on stage trying to give a talk together for the first time. So this is a talk 2 ways.
And in under 23 minutes, we're going to tell you how you can find your voice. So first, other than saying nice things about each other's styles, how do we give our talks? I have pretty much all of my slides done before I get to the conference.
I literally started my slides in the hotel. You can see that's a picture of Zach working on his slides at home.
I think that light attracts the bugs, and so I do dark slides.
I'm actually a dark mode user on my devices, but for some reason, I like the blinding white light slides.
I have a full script. I have a script with full sentences written out with pauses and even the word click to tell me to advance the keynote.
The only scripts I believe in are bash scripts. So I improv most of what I say on stage.
When I'm trying to figure out material, I write down everything I want to talk about and stare at it for hours, hoping that a structure will magically form.
I kind of just let the ideas come to me. Not exactly what happened here, of course, but over weeks, months, a year, if the idea, the talk doesn't come together in my head, I'm just not going to have it happen.
When I give talks, I kind of turn my personality up to 11.
And as Zach said, my talks are pretty much, we're out to lunch, very conversational, chill. The only thing missing here is actual food in my hands.
Your camera's in your hand. So we have 2 very different talk styles. Whose is better? Well, kind of both.
but also neither.
So, why do we do it this way? So, for me, I have an awful short term memory. But if I have a full script, I don't need to memorize anything. Now, if I don't know what I'm going to say up there, it's going to be a lot of fumbling over my words, even if I know my material. But because the script is right there, I need minimal rehearsal, basically just to figure out timing. Now, once I'm up here, I basically know exactly how it's going to go. I barely need to think. And the main thing that I need to focus on, besides enjoying the rest of the conference, is just being a performer. My style does not work if you're reading a script. You have to perform the script.
So my style is built a lot around my stutter. I will actually fumble my words if I have a script. I know the words, and I'm going to think about how I can fail on them all the time. So I wait till the last minute to kind of piece it all together. So it's more of a mystery for myself. So on stage, I try and keep relaxed, comfortable, conversational, kind of like, again, we're out to lunch, just chatting. Uh, if you want to dig into this deeper, I have a talk from Swift Leads last year where I actually reverse engineered my stutter into Swift code and kind of show how I become this more relaxed, comfortable on stage. But that's not what this talk is about today. So, what happens if we switch styles?
So scared.
We're not going to honor the things that work for us. So we prepped on mini talks, embedded talks about UI table view cell reuse. So I'm going to do it Zach's way. My talk has a full script, and I actually prepared it weeks before, even before I prepared this talk. And then Zach is going to do it my way. He has no script, and he couldn't start it until he was on the plane here. So I haven't given a scripted talk. You take that.
Yep.
In 15 years since university, where I was giving a senior design talk and I literally was blocked and could not say words. So we're gonna
Get him, Josh.
do this. 1 second. I need some water.
Give him applause as he takes a water break. Actually, I'm gonna follow suit.
Okay.
You got this.
Okay. So this is the 3 R's of reusable UI table view cells. This is garbage. We don't like it. It's lazy. It's not an efficient use of our resources. To save our resources, we need to put extra effort in by recycling. The 3 R's is how we do this: reduce, reuse, recycle. But what if the same 3 R's can be applied to iOS development? The gray box is my UI table view for my grocery list: cheese, milk, wine. My table looks full, but I still have a lot more groceries I need to add. The items in the gray are visible to the user, while the items outside of the gray are not. As we scroll, our list keeps going. However, all cells that scroll up are still exist in memory. This might be fine for a list of 20 items, but what happens if the list is 100, 200, 1,000? That's kind of what it looks like. We are being greedy, lazy. We're creating new over and over and over again. So the first R is register. We tell UI table view which cell it is able to create. Call register on your table view, pass the cell class and an identifier for reuse. I mean, that's kind of it right now. The table view knows what we are trying to create. Now we need to use it. We need to return a cell at this row. This is done using DQ reusable cell. Here's our table view again. As we scroll up, the table view creates a new view for the chips item from the registered views. But what's going to happen with the cheese? Next is reuse. The UI table view will pull from a pool of cells that are no longer being used. Now we have an empty pool next to our table. When the chips come into view, the UI table view first looks in the pool to see if there is a cell to reuse. Since there is not, it will create one again. And now, since cheese is no longer being used, the cell will get moved into the pool. Now we scroll. Now, bread will not be created with a new cell. Instead, it will use an existing instance from the pool. But wait, did you see that? The cheese briefly showed in place of bread. Last is reset. We need to make the recycled cell as good as new. To do this, we override the prepare for use on a UI table view cell and reset all the properties. In this case, we set our label to empty string. Now when the cell is being reused, it looks as good as new. Our table view cell reuse can now save the world. Thank you.
Oh God. All right. Down does it? Okay.
Down does it.
I am doing something I've never done before, and I'm stepping away from the podium, okay? Hi, kids. I'm going to tell you a story about UI table view cells. So UI table view is a big old scrollable view class that is composed of a bunch of UI table view cells and subclasses. Look, here goes one now, scrolling across the screen and off screen. Where did it go? Did it go to a giant memory heap with every UI table view cell that we're ever going to need and ever have needed? No. That's wildly inefficient. It's a lot of memory. And table views can get really, really long. What if there's 100, 1,000, 10,000 UI table view cells? Okay, we can be a little bit more memory conscious. What if our friendly UI table view cell just dies when it goes off screen, and then some other UI table view cell comes in when you need it again? Well, that also seems wildly inefficient. So what happens? Well, when the cell goes off screen, it enters an exclusive club called the reuse queue. Yeah, there it is. And when the table view needs a new cell, it says, "Hey, reuse queue, I need a cell." And the reuse queue is like, "Cool, what identifier?" Each cell in the reuse queue has an identifier that's a string literal, has nothing to do with its class. And so the reuse queue says what identifier, and the table view says something of identifier basic cell. And the reuse queue says, "Cool, we got one of those, basic cell, go get them." And now the user scrolls again, and we need a new cell. Table view says, "Hey, I need a cell." Reuse queue says, "What identifier?" And the table view says, "Metal cell." Well, reuse queue doesn't have one. It says, "Go init one yourself." And so the table view inits one. And that is how babies are born. UI table view cells are reused. Thank you. Okay. Whoo, that was so hard. That was so hard. Oh,
on my spot.
Okay.
Back.
His was okay. I'm not gonna lie. I saw Josh's talk like an hour before. Like we were supposed to surprise each other. His was so much more technically dense and like fit so much more into that.
My heart rate was like 180. I was not in a good position to keep doing that for more than 2 minutes.
I lost my train of thought.
I also have no idea what I talked about. I felt so
I'm
disconnected.
coming back over here.
Oh yeah,
right?
You stay over there. Okay,
This is my safety spot.
I'm gonna stand over here. So
Okay.
we found our voices, and now we want to help you find your voice. So we're gonna have a little chat here. I gotta not sit on this thing. Okay, so the first step, I'm gonna turn so I can see the slides a little bit. The first step to finding your voice is realizing that you have one. This is hard. You kind of think, am I qualified? Why would someone want to hear me? And what if I don't have a new idea? Uh, it is scary up here. Not that you all are scary, but the place is scary. You're strangers, industry idols that we look up to, professional speakers, and conference organizers. It's a lot to hold on to. So you get this feeling of, I don't belong here. I've been down this path. AltConf 2016, I was watching a talk, Fastlane talk, something that I'm passionate about, knowledge about, have a lot of experience with. And it was a great talk, but I was like, I want to do that. I can do that. I have experience, knowledge. I want to share it. But I have a stutter and I'm a introvert. Uh, most conferences, I stand off to the side by myself, corner. I don't want to talk to anyone. Uh, Newly diagnosed anxiety, so I'm guessing I probably had anxiety back 10 years ago. Uh, that math usually does not equal public speaker. Thought about it, tried figure things out here, and I realized those traits are not who I am and not what I'm capable of. And I assumed that people saw me the same way I saw myself, which is not the case. This group here, friends, supporters, mentors, you're here to listen about my knowledge, my experience, and my passion for all of my hobbies and things. So the conference organizer also chooses you. They believe in you. They want you to be here on stage. So I've got this. You don't have to feel this way.
So now that you're no longer scared to give a talk, or you're scared to give a talk and you're going to do it anyway, how do you figure out what you're even going to talk about? So we came up with a list, a non-exhaustive list of idea formats to help get you started. Here's an intro to obscure thing.
Look, Apple introduced a new technology.
I have a silly gimmick for explaining my topic.
Oh, I clicked too soon.
No,
Gotta make one mistake.
it's okay.
Spite.
I failed or I succeeded at something. Here's what I learned.
Here's a technology you already know, but applied in a different way.
I'm more charismatic than the documentation.
Not wrong. And then here's a mindset shift. But the talk topic isn't everything.
Once you figured out what you're going to talk about, you've got to figure out who you are up here. You're giving this talk as yourself. Unless you've got like an extra special gimmick, you're not playing a character. Now, it's great to draw inspiration from someone or something else, but don't change yourself to be something you're not. Find that thing in yourself. You can be the best version of yourself, but don't deny who you are and understand what that means and work with it. Are you kind? Amazing. Endear yourself to the audience. Are you successful? Amazing. Use that to show the audience the way. Are you a performer? Amazing. Put on a show. Now, if you're someone who's sarcastic or grumpy, it's a little bit trickier, but it's still doable. The audience as a whole didn't sign up to be bullied or reprimanded, but for example, if you're making a grumpy commentary on a difficult scenario or a sarcastic commentary on a pesky API, you can bring the audience along with you as an ally, and then you get them on their side. In addition to figuring out who you are, figure out who you are to the audience. Are you a storyteller? Are you a teacher? Are you a peer? And in addition to that, figure out who the audience is to you. Are they beginners? Are they your buddies? Are they your elders? Are they spectators on your big adventure? Now, all these questions aren't 100% necessary, but they can definitely help you form your talk's personality.
So now it's time to make a slide deck. It's difficult. It's much harder than creating a new Xcode project. You have a lot more tools to choose from. So you got to pick one that matches your style, your personality. We have Keynote, Google Slides, Canva, your classic like drag and drop visual editors. You got DeckSet, which uses a Markdown file. It's pretty clean, simple, easy to move things around, put text in there. You got something like Reveal.js, which kind of in the similar vein of DeckSet, but you get web technologies and can probably do crazy advanced stuff still. Probably something similar to Keynote. There's also thousands of others, or like two speakers that have been up here. You can make your own slide deck for fun.
Google Deck UI.
So, which is best for you? Comfort is key. You're going to be using this from creation, rehearsal, presentation. You want something that is very low friction. Deck set, Markdown is easy. If you want something that doesn't change from slide to slide for the most part. If you need something that is visual animations, Keynote is probably the best for you here. But it also depends on the tech setup at the conference. You want something that is easy to present. And if there is a conference laptop, you want to make sure it's something that they support. And then if you are using something that does it is on the cloud, the terminology, whatever, internet, make sure you have strong Wi-Fi, but it is very unreliable, so probably best to avoid those. So you got a blank canvas. What do you do? Yeah, look at me. Slides are not scripts. Please don't put everything you want on the slide. As probably just happened, the audience disconnected with me and is all eyes up there. So my goal is to not make the audience work. Your eyes just generally went up there to read it. Less is more. This math again does not make sense, but this is what you want. You want less information on your slide, and to kind of have a balance between what's up there and what I'm saying. Uh, you don't want to make your audience eyes work to find what's on screen. So this is, I think it's the worst I could get. I've seen worse, but
This one's pretty bad.
So if you're doing code and you're talking about specific things in the code, try to highlight where you're talking about so that you're not users, your audience can kind of follow along with you and understand what you're talking about. This is actually pretty straightforward to do. I copied the slides 5 times, moved the box, and Magic Move just did all of the work there. So user experience is everything here. You're going to want to think about your slides as you were making an app. And if you have any questions, you can ask Mia. So talk structure. You want a strong hook, something to capture the audience in really quickly. In the middle is where you kind of die down a little bit, let the audience relax, take in the information. And then the end is energizing. You want the end to be stronger than the start. But as always, rules are meant to be broken. You can break rules to be exciting, add emphasis, but be calculated when you use them. It's going to take practice. You can't just create a good slide deck from the start. Practice makes progress. And eventually, you'll be able to create keynotes without using your hands. So that'd be amazing.
So you've created your slide deck. It's finally the big day. You made it, and you're going to do great. Now, how do we make sure of it? First thing is to make sure that your setup is set up for success. Ask the organizers well before your time slot if you can connect your laptop to whatever's on the podium so you can adjust display resolution and orientation and riffle through all of your slides just to make sure that everything's okay. Are your font sizes okay? Are your colors okay? And if you have sound in your talk, is that coming through? Then before your talk, close absolutely everything except what you need for your talk. Yes, this includes the conference Slack. Yes, this includes your emotional support tabs. Yes, this includes checking your menu bar and desktop for stuff that you might not want people to see. Turn on Do Not Disturb well in advance. And even if you can, turn off Wi Fi. Chances are your talk is getting recorded. This one is. And we want to reduce the chances of external accidents. But in addition to your tech, you need to check and prep yourself. You are not a robot. You're an incredibly complicated houseplant with emotions. And you can't just be like, oh, my talk is ready, so I must be ready. You have to take care of yourself. Make sure you're well rested, hydrated, caffeinated as appropriate, and fed also as appropriate. Also, try and eat foods that make you feel good. Notice that phrasing, foods that make you feel good. For some people, that might mean I don't want to upset my stomach, and so I'm going to eat a big salad. For other people, it might mean I feel happy and satisfied after eating some really good pizza. Now, for other people, they might feel a little bit nauseated. And if you're feeling a little bit nauseated before your talk, eat some candied ginger. That will help you calm the stomach. Trust me, I know. Now, as time draws even nearer, it's time for your pre-talk ritual. Now, this looks different for everybody. Find something that makes you feel capable or strong or sexy or confident in both your body and your headspace. Some people pace or do push ups or fidget with their favorite fidget toy to calm the nerves. Some people put on calming music. I don't do that. I'm a dancer. So I put on music to hype myself up and dance it out. Also, I put on an extra layer for cover up in case I get sweaty underneath. And this goes without saying, but please use the bathroom beforehand. And before you know it, you'll be on stage. Now, before you even say a single word, start off strong, and it starts with this. I know. We're all engineers. We're not exactly known for being good at this. Fix your posture. Shoulders back, chest out, and look up or look out at the audience. You can do this even if you have one hand on your keyboard looking at your laptop with your full script. Now, I'm not saying stand up there and look like a regeneration from Doctor Who, but a nice open posture will help you look more confident, more relaxed, and will actually help your voice be clearer. Speaking of which, let's talk about your actual voice. If you want to sound more engaging, there's 3 things that I want to tell you about that I want you to vary during your talk. And that's pitch, volume, and speed. Pitch, how high or low your voice is. My script writing was going so well, and then I got writer's block. It's like you're telling a children's story, right? Volume, my script writing was going so well, and then I got writer's block. Projecting is important, but as long as the microphone can pick you up, doing something like this allows you to draw the audience in and make your point. And lastly, speed. My script writing was going so well, and then I got writer's block. Now, if we combine these 3, it can turn an incredibly boring talk into something that's super engaging and makes the audience listen. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to touch on about that last one, speed. And the first is that however you vary your speed, slow down overall. This will help people understand you, especially for an audience whose first language isn't the one that you're speaking. The second is to pause for emphasis. And that's not to say that you shouldn't leave the audience hanging, but don't just say an important detail and then move on. Now, that being said, there is one place where you shouldn't build in pauses, and that's jokes. Absolutely put in humor. It shows your personality. If the audience laughs, you can pause, but pause as a reaction. It's a big mistake to assume the audience will get every joke. Trust me, I've made that mistake before, and it gets really awkward. Speaking of mistakes, they will happen. That's totally okay. There's one right there. If you make a misskate, you can either ignore it if it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, or you can call it out in a humorous way and endear yourself to the audience. If I stumble over my words, I'll say something like, wow, English is just running at 70% today. But remember that whatever happens on stage, mistakes and all, we're rooting for you. So Josh and I have thrown a lot of tips at you, and we know that's overwhelming as hell. This is the stuff that we've learned and accumulated on our journey to becoming speakers, but your journey is your own. So face your fears, get inspired, and find your voice. And it's not just us that wants you to succeed. It's everybody in this room.
So with some luck next year, it won't be a talk two ways. It'll be a talk your way.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Did it.
It was interesting because obviously I do a lot of speaking as well. And I think one of the things that I noticed about your guys' talk is that you're really making effective use of like keynote animations.
Yeah.
For me,
Josh
that
is so good at that.
Yeah, for me, that is absolutely my kryptonite because I just spend way too much time like doing like the flame emojis on everything. So, do you guys have anything that you can identify where you're like, oh, I've seen other people use that really, really effectively, but for me, uh, but for me, that is just not really a good idea. So,
I'm pretty sure Vincent has good use of showing code and magic move. That
Yes.
yes. So I've seen that. I've wondered it. It looked insane. Antoine also has that. The Tuano on
yeah, on Vanderlei.
yeah, that one. He does the same thing. So he actually showed me how to do it at Swift Leads last year. So watch talks from professionals, see how they do it, nice subtle animations, and then just ask questions, ask for help because it's not straightforward.
Josh did all the animations in this talk. He was like, Zach, jump on the keynote, go to this slide and play it. And I'm like, oh,
I did the animations before the
it was
content.
so good.
Nice.
Oh my God. That like wipe thing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Would you consider it test-driven development to do the animations before the context? No. Fair enough.
Oh my God.
This is again another thing. Like I'm still terrible at this. One of the things that you guys talked about was slowing down.
Yep.
I pretty much am god awful at doing that.
Yep.
How do you guys deal with, obviously when you're going on stage, you have a lot of adrenaline.
Yep.
How do you sort of compensate for that in a way that allows you to talk at a more reasonable pace?
So for me, this is one of the reasons why I put on pump up music instead of calm down music, so that I get out all of my like physicality when I'm not on stage. Really doing some sort of physical activity to like as like a venue for that beforehand.
Yeah.
And also get your reps in. Like seriously, this is not, you're not going to be perfect your first conference talk. Like just like any of y'all ever like seen code that you wrote like 5 years ago and you're like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like that. The world's not going to be over if like it's a little bit messy and you are much more critical than other people are.
I put like strategic pauses in my slides. So I spoke at Swift Barat last week and actually had a slide that said like, Josh, take a pause, slow down. So the audience knew that I had to slow down. So I'll kind of throw it as a little bit of humor into my slide.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not going to stop.
Nice.
Yeah. Another thing I'll say is that I format my my speaker notes with literal like bracket, pause, close bracket, or I'll like put in ... or I'll put in like a couple of new lines to be like, all right, cool, new idea.
Yeah. You talked about sort of like getting a lot of practice with talking. I wanted to ask both of you, what was the first talk that you ever gave? And then what was the environment? Was it like a big conference or was it like a local meetup? Or like a work, lunch, and learn. So how about you, Josh?
You want to tell the story?
So the first conference talk was actually 360 iDev 2021, in person, big stage.
Yep.
And I saw Zach as a speaker, and I asked Zach.
No, I came to you and I was like, wow, you're really big on Twitter. You're the Josh Holtz. Can I run my talk by you? I've never given a talk before.
I said, of course, because he was talking about localization. He
Yeah.
thought I was an expert. I knew nothing. So I was
We're talking about code signing. That's so much harder than localization.
code signing so much easier. Anyway,
No.
what was the question? We're not good at this.
Story of how we met.
So it sounds like first talk for both of you with
Yeah.
360 iDev
Yes,
in 2021.
yeah, bigger conference, and it was just kind of YOLO. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think if you had it to do over again, would you start at such a large stage, or do you think you would try to start with a smaller stage?
I've done some meetups, but like
Yeah.
it's not the same. I project plan everything very different
Okay.
between a meetup and on stage.
Cool.
I'm the opposite. I love a big crowd. I teach dance in my spare time, and so I'm used to like having an audience, but having visuals makes me prep so differently.
Yeah. Is there any questions from the audience?
Yeah, so first the audience really liked the talk and
Oh,
they
thanks.
wanted to let it known in the
Oh.
questions. And there is one question, I want to ask, kind of like around like exercising the fear of what could go wrong.
Yeah.
And the question is, what's your most epic failure on stage?
Oh.
So mine has not been in front of this community. I touched on it a little bit, and it was in my senior design presentation in front of like 100 of my peers. I had to give a talk about what we were creating, and I literally froze on stage. Like no words could come out. And at that time, I wasn't transparent about my stutter. So like it probably confused a lot of people what I was doing. Years later, I talked to my professor and he was also confused. He's like, I know you know the material, like all that kind of stuff. And he was like, I didn't know what happened. So back then, I really should have been transparent about my stutter with my professor, with my peers, and I probably would have been more relaxed. But I couldn't say anything. So my team luckily could step in for me. But I was embarrassed for weeks after that one.
Yeah. I have two ones, one from my dance career and one from my iOS speaking gigs. The one from the iOS world was probably the best talk I ever gave, and unfortunately, it's not public. But it's a talk I gave about what happens if you get laid off, and there was a joke that I kept trying to hit, and it just wouldn't hit. The joke was instead of saying Google, I would say Bing, and nobody laughed. And I paused, and nobody laughed. It was so awkward. From my dance career, the microphone, there was a delay between the microphone and what came out of the speakers. And there's literally an academic paper saying that is a provable way of having you fumble over your words. And I was so upset afterwards. I was just like, it was embarrassing for me.
Yeah, if you've ever been on a Zoom call where you can hear your own voice coming back through the other person's headphones, like that, it's the worst.
I should have handled it better, but like it was real bad.
Yeah. Any more?
Yeah, we have one more question. Why is it important for developers to talk at meetups and conferences?
What's the question?
Why
Why is it important? Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
oh boy. Okay.
No, you give your answer because I have something controversial.
So for me, I think it's networking. Weird. I mean, as I mentioned, I'm an introvert kind of thing. If I'm in a community, I'm gonna go hide in the corner. I'm not gonna go like go find people to talk to. So it was kind of my hack to introducing myself to people by forcing it on everyone. So that's why I go to talk on stage. One, to be able to like better be connected with the community, but also like I have a big passion for a lot of different things, and my family can only hear so much about it. So I need to tell people that actually are in the community about the cool things that I like and that I'm experiencing.
I actually don't think it's necessary. I think that speaking is something that you should do willingly, even if you're scared to do it. You can be like, I'm scared and I'm going to do it anyway. But I think it's not great to force people to give talks like this. I think, wow, geez. No. Like you should still do stuff that's hard, but like this requires a lot of effort, and you want someone that wants to be up there, even if they're scared. So I would say like it's good to get your people skills in general, but it doesn't have to be speaking at conference talks, speaking at conferences. Yeah.
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 That's the one.
All right. On that note, we're
Wait,
gonna.
can I say one more thing?
Oh, fine.
I told Ellen that I would say something that was nice and also true.
And we have to wrap.
So in 2014, I went to my first conference, and one of the people that I was like, wow, this person is so friggin' good, and I am so inspired by, is Ellen Shapiro. So can we give it up for Ellen? Woo!
Thank you.
All right, now we can go.
Now we can go.
All right. Now we're gonna let these guys get off stage.